everyone, and welcome to today's tutorial. We're going to be drawing a ninja character because I was looking at some of my old videos and I noticed a video from like a year ago on how to draw a ninja, and it was supposed to be a tutorial for beginners, but looking over it again I realized that I was the beginner. It was a really terrible tutorial, so I'm gonna redo it and hopefully it's gonna be better than the last time. And it's going to be actually for beginners this time. You should be able to follow along a lot better, and the finished result will look a lot better than my one-year-old video. So let's start the way I always do, with a line. I add these two horizontal lines at the top and bottom. This is just showing me how big my drawing is going to be. I like to establish that before I draw it. So we're going to do like a basic holding a sword ninja pose. So let's mark the center of this line. Okay, now we're going to draw a box in a rectangle, with the center of the rectangle being the center of this line. Good. And above that, let's draw another line a little more than an inch up. Down here, this is where the feet are going to be, and this line marks about where the top of the head will be. Okay, now let's start with a little talk about foreshortening. I have some other foreshortening tutorials, and you might want to look at them to help you out with this part of the tutorial, but since this ninja character is going to be leaning forwards, the front and top of his body, as well as his head, are going to be closer to us than the bottom of his body, and we need to show that. We're going to do that by making this rectangle three-dimensional. So let's angle these lines in a little so it looks like it's almost going to be a triangle. Then we're going to draw another line about half an inch down from the top one and cut off about half an inch from the bottom. Instantly we have a 3D rectangle. Let's erase this box and look at it. Okay, this 3D rectangle is his chest. So now you can see that he's leaning toward us, and this is the top of his shoulders, and it tapers down to his waist here. Let's round that off to make it a little bit clearer. Okay. This is going to be a dynamic pose. I have a video on dynamic posing, and basically a dynamic pose means that the shoulders and hips are angled in different directions. So let's angle the shoulders up on this side, which means the line below has to be angled up as well. Okay, now he's not only leaning toward us, he's tilted his body slightly over here. I'm going to put in two half circles on the edge of the shoulders. This is where his arms will join. I'm going to put two half circles on the bottom of this shape, and this is where the legs will join on. This basically defines the hips. Okay, now when he was not a 3D object, the head would have gone up here, but now we have to lower it a lot. So let's lower that line, and we're just going to draw an oval shape that comes halfway over the shoulder line. Let's erase this line back here so that we can see that it is a head. It's starting to look like a very simple robot, and that's the way we want it to look. This is basically a mannequin. Okay, for a dramatic pose, or like a strong pose, the character will have their legs firmly planted widely apart. So let's draw that in. Let's keep it simple with the legs. Two straight lines. And for the feet, just draw some boxes for now. Some more rectangles on the ground. Now we can erase all of the old guidelines. Okay, remember what I said about dynamic posing? How the shoulders and hips have to be angled in different directions? Well, right now the shoulders are angled, but the hips aren't. So we need to angle the hips a little. Keep these guidelines so that you can see that they really are tilted in different directions. I'll go into detail of how to place the legs with the hips like this in a minute. But first I'd like to sketch in the arms. He's going to be holding a sword over his shoulder right here. So we need to bring his arms in a position to do that. First let's put the sword about where we want it. Just a straight scribbled line. Okay, and the hilt. Okay, now we will put in the arms. The arm comes down to around the hips, then we have the elbow, then it comes up again. Make a triangle sort of shape, well, just a square, I don't really care to do a triangle today, for this hand, and now we have one of the arms. But how are we going to place this one? If he holds it like this, that looks kind of weak. So let's give him a bold, daring pose for that arm. How else can he hold it? We could do it just about straight out from the shoulder and then in. And now he's really, really strong looking and dynamic and actiony. Remember to try and keep the length of the arms uniform. You can measure with whatever art products you have handy, or if you happen to have a ruler somewhere, you should use that. I can't keep track of my ruler, so I won't be using it today. Okay, now for the legs. Since the hips are tilted like this, the legs cannot be in the same position. One or both of them are going to have to be bent slightly. So let's take a look at that. Let's sketch in the lower body so that we can see where the legs will meet. Try and keep everything as three-dimensional as possible. It'll really keep you oriented in your drawing. Okay, so here's the knee. We put in the knee about halfway down the leg, and now we're going to bend the legs. Since the lower leg bends a little bit, we're going to emphasize that here. You might see a cartoon character with a leg like this when they're standing really dramatically. You see how it curves out on this side? That makes it look a lot more dramatic, so keep that in mind. Also, that curve is more pronounced when a character is wearing high heels, so that's an important detail. But for now, just curve it a little bit. And this knee is going to be lower than this one, I believe. I usually tweak my drawings a whole lot, so if I go back and erase the legs, then I apologize. But I'm gonna try and keep it right. Okay. Let's just sketch the outline of the legs here. It doesn't have to be super precise just yet. Okay, I have one leg turned to the side, hence the lump only on one side, and I have the other one dead on, hence the lumps on both sides. Lump doesn't sound nice. I'm gonna try to say curve when I refer to that. Okay, the curve of the calf muscle. Sounds a lot better than lump. Okay, having the legs in different positions is also a very good touch. It keeps the drawing looking natural and flowing because your body is not going to fall naturally into a symmetrical pose. It's always leaning to one side or the other, and your body parts are facing one side or the other. So keep that in mind when drawing. Have things at different angles. Shake it up a bit. Okay, I'm joining that shape we made earlier to the hips. Now let's do the feet. Remember how we had rectangles here before? Well, that's basically all you need for the feet. Only for this foot, we're going to need something a little more elaborate. So let's erase all of this and a little higher up the leg and take a look at that. So the foot is made up of a few different shapes. We have ankle here, the heel and toe, and all the stuff in the middle. So I'm gonna make this sort of like skeleton thing of the foot. We have the ankle here, the middle part, the heel, and the toe. If you add the lines all around that, we have a foot shape that is slightly off the ground. I'm gonna pull out my knot ruler and line these feet up. Okay. So this foot needs to be a little higher up. So I'm just gonna go through and move it up. And if you happen to put your foot in the right place, that's good. I'm gonna just quickly put mine where it needs to be. So that is our basic foot. This one can remain as it is, except I'm going to slope down a little on this side. We'll go through and refine things later. Okay, now let's take a look at the head. Since he's going to be in a ninja mask, we don't have to add a lot of detail. We just have to show the angle of the face. And he is looking up, so I've put the center line as a slight curve upwards. Okay, it's time to start filling in the arms. So I'm going to erase where they would go and fill them in. Okay, now we have the arms in place. So let's do the sword. We're going to draw the sword now so that we can have that where it needs to be, and then draw the hands around it. So the ninja sword, a katana, is a straight sword with just a small angle at the top. It's not like those fantasy swords that go like this or just like this. It's pretty simple and straightforward, and it's supposed to be really light and very sharp. So at the bottom of it, just above the hilt, there's a square and then a very long hilt. So that is how to draw a katana. We have the hand going over it in sort of a square shape. It would be a square, except I've done a triangular shape at the top, so it's sort of like a very simple house shape like this. So that's one of the hands. And the other hand is hidden behind this hand and the sword, so we won't have to draw it. If you don't like drawing hands, then you'll probably end up finding a whole lot of tricks to make sure you never have to draw hands. Okay, and there we have the basic ninja body. Now we're going to go through and give him a cool ninja outfit. So first I'm going to refine the head a little bit. Okay, lighten up these guidelines. Erase this guideline. Okay, so possibly the most important part of the ninja outfit is the mask. So let's draw that. It's basically a rectangular shape that's curved along the angle of the face. But let's take this ninja mask a step further and angle the center down so that he looks more menacing, and even put a little samurai decoration on the front of it. A samurai decoration that coincidentally happens to look like the Shredder's symbol. You know what? I'm going to give him a different samurai symbol. I'm gonna try for one that's more like this. More typical samurai. So let's put that design on. Okay, you might see this design a whole lot on the forehead of Gundams, those mechs from the anime, and that's because they are samurai themed. It's pretty cool. Okay, ninja mask. Ninja mask has ties in the back that are always waving in the wind so that you can see them. So we just have some really simple curved lines coming out from the back. I'm going to give him these tied armbands, and sometimes you'll see something like this. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but it comes out from under the armband onto the hand, and I never gave him fingers, so I'm just going to scribble in some fingers. Okay, now for this tied armband, we add a lot of lines curving along the center of it here, and a little strip hanging loose. And the same thing on this side. Okay, so now we can give him all these cool patches here and there. Let's just give him something right here. These sleeves up on his shoulder, where his shirt is tied off here with some squared buttons. You can't see his belt here. Let me put in some wrinkles. So I'm going to actually explain how to do wrinkles here. So wrinkles cause the fabric to push up and down. So let's do some up and down lines in the middle here where most of the wrinkles form. In the bottom of the wrinkle, you will see a long line because it's in shadow. So from the bottom of the wrinkle, draw a long line with a hook at the end. Draw another beside it, but without the hook to keep it not uniform. And draw a line down from the shoulder, which will then join into these wrinkles. Let's repeat the process on the other side. You could also draw a lump on the elbow and have a wrinkle join it there. We want the wrinkles to be curved so it looks like they're actually wrapping around his arm. Okay, even if we can't see his belt, we can see the straps from his belt blowing in the wind. Wind is so dramatic. Everything that has drama has wind. Let's extend his ninja mask to his outfit. Like it's a really long hood thing that also falls on his outfit. We're going to do some wrinkles on it, just some lines. So some quick lines down there. Okay, time for the legs. And the legs are going to have these arm sort of things too. It's been so long since I drew a ninja, I forgot how much I liked drawing them. And just like on the hands, we have these things. Still not sure what they are. Maybe they're protectors? And of course we have the katana sheath on this side. And the belt attachment. And I'm going to shade that darker. Okay, we're just about done. Let's put in some wrinkles around the knees. The same principle from the arms. Draw lumps on the sides, hooked ones going in. For pants wrinkles, you can just have fun scribbling horizontal lines. And now, when the pants are tucked into these band things, let's put in some more wrinkles, some billowy folds. So we're going to make a big lump that curves in to meet the top line of the bands. And from there, we will draw some more curved lines, just like before. And this time, we will angle them more. So I have one curved line with a hook coming from here, and then I have one up top curving down and almost touching that one. And on this side, it is touching. This is because we really want to break up the monotony, no symmetry. And for the same reason, I've put a line here. Some wrinkles under the elbows. And on the face, you'll see lines like this for like the mask held up so he can still breathe normally. And now for the eyes. Really simple eyes, because we won't be seeing much of them anyways. Okay, now I'm going to go through and put down a basic tone. Alright, that is it for this tutorial. I hope this video was helpful to you guys, and thank you for watching. Check out some of the other videos on my channel. I've got a whole lot of tutorials and animations and speed paints and some videos about cats. So go check it out. So again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.